Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. It's fabulous to see you again here on planet Earth. Where have I been? Probably relaxing properly for the first time this year, actually. Lots of things happening and lots of extremely good news, and further than that, I cannot elaborate. Right, let's get into it. Now, this video mostly, excuse me, I want to talk about Shauna Vintage Reed because she has done a video. I think it's probably one of the best videos I've ever seen on YouTube. She had me gripped, like when I was actually watching the Netflix show Baby Reindeer. I was gripped on her every word because she was telling me stuff. Well, the viewer, you know, isn't it funny how we feel like it's just like a one-on-one conversation? That's how I feel. I see everybody as like, you're one friend. Do you see what I mean? But before we get to that, I hear rumours that our Princess of Wales might be on the balcony for Trooping of the Colour. And I hope that's true, but only if she herself feels ready to do it and is not under pressure to do it. But if she is feeling well enough and she's really strong enough, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. That will be marvellous. Right, Harry. Let's start with Harry, because this video is really about how people abuse power, right? And how people can abuse legal systems or any method that they can to try and manipulate another person. And Harry, I feel, has done that. I feel that he has manipulated and attacked his family in such a way as to put them in a very, very difficult position. And for many years since we all started this journey, we've wondered, you know, when will this all come to an end? And I've always known it would come to an end when his power base is gone. Basically, Meghan doesn't have a power base. Her power base is the fact that she married Harry. So this was always going to continue as long as Harry enabled her. Harry gave her a platform. Harry provided money. It was never going to end. And I see that power base hugely undermined and weakened, and especially in the eyes of the world, he has lost so much credibility anyway. But apart from that, this Tom Quinn, who seems to be some sort of, I don't know, new spokesperson, I don't know if he is. He's some sort of journalist. He's written books. I saw someone comment they were very disappointed because he always used to be a bit of a Rottweiler. I don't know. I know he has written books on the royal family, but I haven't read any of them, so I can't really comment either way. But I have seen his name here, there, everywhere. He seems to have taken over from Omid Scobie, and everything he has to say about Harry and Meghan appears to me to be in their favour all the time. And today, very interestingly, I see an article in The Sun where Tom Quinn is saying, in no uncertain terms really, that Harry, the honeymoon period is over in California. He's had enough and he wants to move back to the UK. Now, hold on to your keyboards just for a moment. There could be a variety of reasons if this is true. Could be to do with a visa, could be to do with homesickness, could be to do with a separation. None of us know. So this is all pure speculation. Regarding the visa situation, there is someone who I hold in very high regard who has told me confidentially some information about Harry's visa and how we should all be looking at the month of July. Now, as I say, I hold this person in very high esteem. I have no reason to doubt them. So, and I think they're right. I think there's something's going to happen in July and come out. So let's keep our eyes peeled for that one. But aside from that, I have felt, and I think I said in January, Harry probably will move back to the UK in the not too distant future. Now that was January and we're in June. And here we are. There are puff pieces saying Harry wants a permanent base. That it's not just that he wants to go back and stay occasionally. He wants a permanent base in the UK. Now, he's entitled to buy a house anywhere he likes in the world. If he can buy a house, if he's got the money to buy a house, no one can stop him. You know, the king can't banish him from England or Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland or anywhere. He's entitled to buy a house. Doesn't mean it's going to be on royal property. Because I think when people think of Harry moving back to the UK, they're thinking royal residences, and that's not necessarily the case. The guy is actually entitled to buy a house if he wants to. Or another thing that occurred to me that might happen is the other side of Harry's family, the Spencers. They were at the cathedral, open arms. They all seem very happy to be together. Wouldn't it be interesting if he were to move to the Althorpe estate or somewhere nearby? And how would that family feel after perhaps 6 months, 12 months, if he were to bring Meghan back? These are all questions. Could that be another family that would perhaps end up in deep regret of a decision such as that? Or would they embrace it? Or would Harry go back alone? So, I mean, I'm thinking that the Spencers are a support base. Let's put it that way. If Harry is not receiving any further funding from the royal family, which it's my belief he's not, if Harry is terrified of security, I mean, I couldn't see him buying a semi-detached house, you know, in a normal street, living with everybody, popping down to the corner shop, especially as he kicks off about security about so much. But, so where's he going to go? If he's got no money and he's wants to get away from California, with or without Meghan, where would be most likely? Well, I would suggest the Spencers, potentially. So I just put that out there for what it's worth. But when you see either a separation, a divorce, or some sort of dispute, or Harry actually manning up and saying, look, I can't afford money for fake photo shoots, I can't afford fake awards, we can't sustain this ludicrous lifestyle in Hollywood pretending to be A-listers, which is what they're doing. They're pretending. They're off the guest list of all the major things. He might sort of, or his accountant might say it's over. The party is over. And then you will see the power base diminish. Now, this same person who I hold in high regard, who told me about Watch Out for July, also told me about emails that, and I've checked this out and it's true. There are companies out there that offer, believe it or not, $830 a week just to comment on YouTube videos. That's all they've got to do is comment. They have a selection of clients, I don't know, let's say, for example, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Obama, and they say, this is the script. This is what we want you to say. We want you to go out there and find YouTube videos in support of our client and go, yeah! Or we want you to find videos of people who critique our client and go, boo! You know, that kind of thing. $830 a week. That's a lot. And there was another one that was offering $730 a day. A day. So, but that requires money. I mean, that's just one person being paid that. And that's from the agency. So then presumably the client would have to pay the agency something like $1,000 a week or $1,500 a week per person who's commenting on YouTube. They'd charge that to the client and then they would keep the profit. They would keep their profit margin, wouldn't they? The difference. So that requires a lot of money. That's someone who's got a lot of money. And I'm not sure that Harry has a lot of money, if indeed that kind of practice has been used, if you see what I mean. Right, let's get to the vintage read. I'm going to put a link in the description. This really, really gripped me because I watched the Netflix show Baby Reindeer, as you know. I was gripped by it. I watched the subsequent interview between Piers Morgan and Fiona Harvey. I personally found Fiona Harvey very, very unconvincing. And there was a lot about the interview, her body language, her answers, I was not happy about. And then apparently, and I haven't seen this, Piers Morgan then went on to interview a lady, I forget her name now, she was the solicitor who had employed Fiona Harvey and given her a chance years before Richard Gadd had any kind of interaction or experience with Harvey. And apparently this lady explained a lot. And then Piers went on to do another video where he sort of diminished what this lady had gone through. Now, Shauna from Vintage Read has explained in pretty much graphic detail what this lady went through. Not only her, her work colleagues, her friends, and her family. And it gripped me. So if you go, I mean, I would listen to the whole thing, but if you want to hear like the really juicy bit, go to kind of like halfway through, and that's where Shauna starts to explain the whole thing. But I really feel watch the whole thing in context to get an idea of what she's saying and where she's coming from and why she disagrees with Piers Morgan. And I'm right there with Shauna. And also with Piers, it's a love-hate relationship, but I like that Piers exercises his free speech and he says what he genuinely thinks and feels. And he's not afraid to say, I was wrong, and to change his mind and to start looking at things in a different way. If we take, for example, Meghan Markle as an example, Piers used to positively fawn over Meghan. In fact, it irritated the hell out of me. He was the one who said, oh, Harry and Meghan are rock star royalty. They sprinkle royal stardust. He was the one who said all of that. And it set my teeth on edge at the time. But then over a period of time, and he kept that up for about a year. And I was beginning to think, are you stupid, Piers? At what point are you going to see what the rest of us can see? Well, not all of us, but some of us could see in the early days. And he figured it out. And then he was like, okay, I got that wrong. And as we all know, he kind of he lost his job, didn't he? By saying he didn't believe her on the Oprah interview. So a lot of the sugars, they would like you to forget the fact that Piers actually was one of Meghan's biggest fans, staunchest fans and supporters in the British media. That he supported her for well over a year. It could even have been 2 years. You know, I really can't remember. So it's interesting. Now, it is important when someone flings out an allegation, it's important that all of us don't just go, oh, I believe that, without hearing the other side. But equally, when one side has provided a deluge of evidence to prove what they are saying is true, I mean, hard evidence, and the other side still has not provided a single jot of evidence and changes their story frequently, it's at that point that I feel public opinion sways against, or should sway against, the person, because sometimes people can be a bit knee-jerk reaction, can't they? And they can automatically go, oh, that's terrible. For example, you might get a YouTuber saying, this happened to me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've said things to you guys, and you may feel you automatically want to believe me and support me or another YouTuber, when you should really maybe go and listen to the other side and make your own mind up. And then you very quickly find out who's telling the truth and who's lying through their fucking arse. Oh, sorry. I haven't made a video as well for a few days because I am on cloud nine. I am so happy and I just don't want to say the wrong thing to fuck it up, because good stuff is coming. Right, I'd like to do a couple of shout outs. Firstly for Graham. Now, let's talk about Graham for a minute. My husband. There's someone on Twitter said, who's Graham? And that's fair enough. Graham got sick and tired on Twitter of every time he tweeted, no matter what he tweeted, it was reposted. There was not only trolling, tormenting, attacks on us as a family. So he just deleted his Twitter. He just deleted it. Well, he thought he'd completely deleted it. And then forth came the sugars. Oh, we got him suspended. How embarrassing for the little liars when Graham reactivated his Twitter account. And now they're going, you lied, you said he deleted it. Why didn't he delete it? Oh dear, how embarrassing. Liar, 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 pants on fire. In fact, don't worry guys, if my YouTube channel ever disappears, I might just privatise it for a week, let the little morons claim victory, and then come back with a bang, just to prove what utter liars they are. Graham has several channels and he would like a shout out for the Baron Flying Club. I will put a link in the description. He does a variety of videos. It's not just about Meghan, about watches, air rifles, aeroplanes. So, and if ever I genuinely go missing, that's where you're going to find me. And finally, apart from Vintage Read, who is also in the description, I'd like to do a shout out for Daniel Boland. If anyone out there has not heard of Daniel, he's so close to getting 100,000 subscribers. And if anybody deserves a silver plaque, it's Daniel, because he's fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Go and check out some of his Meghan and Harry videos, although I think the guy's skating on thin ice at the moment because he's critiquing Jeremy Vine, and that has not always worked out well for a lot of people. Whatever my feelings and thoughts on Jeremy Vine are, I do agree that when I watch his bicycle videos, it does look like he's got a drone above his head. Graham thought it was an antenna, but no, I saw one the other day where the camera was like way above Jeremy and it seemed to go over the taxi and down the other side. I mean, is Jeremy cycling around London with a drone above his head? Check out Daniel Boland. Let's see if we can get him that silver plaque. Why the guy doesn't have millions of subscribers is beyond me. Well, that's quite enough for me today, and I will be updating you as and when I feel that I can contain myself and control what I can and cannot let you know here on YouTube. In the meantime, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening.